Why was Corbitt D-600 truck so ahead of its time? Imagine this. It's the 1960s. The Beatles are topping the charts. Man is about to land on the moon. And trucks? Well, trucks are just trucks. Big, bulky, and about as exciting as a loaf of white bread. But then, bam, out of nowhere comes this thing. A truck so ahead of its time. It looked like it had driven straight out of a sci-fi movie and onto the highway. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Corbitt truck. A vehicle so weird, so revolutionary, and so utterly misunderstood. So, why was the Corbitt truck so ahead of its time? Buckle up, because this is a story about innovation, ambition, and a truck that dared to be different. Let's set the scene, shall we? The 1960s were a time of radical change. People were dreaming bigger, thinking bolder, and pushing boundaries like never before. And in the middle of all this cultural upheaval, a guy named Ola Corbitt, yes, that's his real name, decided he was going to reinvent the wheel. Literally, Ola wasn't just some random dude with a wrench and a dream. He was an engineer, a visionary, and, let's be honest, probably a little bit of a mad scientist. His goal? To create a truck that wasn't just a workhorse but a statement. And boy, did he deliver. Now, let's talk about the design. This thing looked like it belonged in Blade Runner, not on a dusty construction site. It had a cab-over-engine layout, which means the driver sat right on top of the engine. Sounds uncomfortable, right? But here's the kicker. It wasn't. Ola designed a cab to tilt forward, giving mechanics easy access to the engine. Genius, right? But wait, it gets better. The Corbitt truck had a fiberglass body. Fiberglass. In the 1960s. Most trucks back then were made of steel, which made them heavy, slow, and about as aerodynamic as a brick. But Ola, he said, nope, we are going lightweight and futuristic. And he did. Let's do a quick comparison. On one side, you've got your average 1960s truck, boxy, loud, and guzzling gas like it's going out of style. On the other side, you've got the Corbitt truck, sleek, quiet, and so fuel efficient it could probably run on hopes and dreams. But here's the thing, Ola didn't stop at the design. Oh no, he went full Tony Stark on this thing. The Corbitt truck had independent suspension, power steering, and even a built-in air compressor. That's right, an air compressor. You could inflate your tires, power your tools, or, I don't know, blow up a bounce house ride from the cab. This wasn't just a truck, it was a Swiss Army knife on wheels. But here's where things get juicy. Ola didn't just build this truck for fun. He wanted to change the game. He took his prototype to investors, to manufacturers, to anyone who would listen. And he said, this is the future. And you know what they said? Nah, we are good. Can you believe it? This guy shows up with a truck that's basically the iPhone of vehicles. And they're like, hey, we'll stick with our flip phones. Thanks. But why? Why did the Corbitt truck fail to take off? Well, my friends, that's where the story gets really interesting. The truth is, the Corbitt truck was too ahead of its time. It was like showing a smartphone to someone who's never seen a touchscreen before. They just don't get it. The trucking industry in the 1960s was all about tradition. Big, heavy trucks were the norm, and nobody wanted to rock the boat. Plus, let's be real, Ola's design was unconventional. It didn't look like a truck, it looked like a spaceship. And while that's cool now, back then, it was just too much too soon. But here's the kicker. The Corbitt truck wasn't a failure. Not really. It was a glimpse into the future. A future where trucks aren't just tools but marvels of engineering. A future where design and functionality go hand in hand. And guess what? That future is now. Look at the trucks on the road today. Electric, aerodynamic, packed with tech. Sound familiar? Ola Corbitt may not have gotten the recognition he deserved. But his vision? It's alive and well. So, the next time you see a futuristic truck cruising down the highway, take a moment to think about Ola Corbitt, a man who dared to dream big, who built something extraordinary, and who, in his own way, changed the world. Because it's a thing about being ahead of your time. It's not about fitting in. It's about standing out. And the Corbitt truck, it stood out in the best possible way.